Hello, everyone. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening from wherever it is that you are joining us from. My name is Julia Ellis. I'm one of the Assistant Directors of Admissions here at the University of Pittsburgh in the Office of Admissions and Financial Aid. And I am very excited to be speaking with you today about the application process. To introduce myself, I am a proud two-time Pitt alum, and I'm native to the Pittsburgh area. I've been working in Pitt admissions for about 6.5 years now, and currently I work more so behind the scenes of the process with your application. So I'm excited to be working with you today, hopefully answering a lot of your questions about the application process. We're going to cover a lot of topics today, and I highly encourage you to put your questions in the chat. This is an Ask Me Anything session directed towards the entire application process, which we can include scholarships, notification deadlines, graduate school guaranteed admissions programs, just to name a few. So whatever questions you have, go ahead and throw them in the chat. I also have a colleague in there who's going to be helping to answer questions that I may not be able to get to. So once again, I am Julia Ellis here at Pitt Admissions. Go ahead and put your questions in there. I'm going to start with a brief overview of our admissions process, just to get us started here. So one of the most important things to note about the University of Pittsburgh is we are rolling admission. So we do not have an early action or an early decision deadline. Our application has been open since the beginning of August, and students are already admitted. They're already, getting into that process. We have lots of applications that are coming in right now as well. There are 3 different ways that students can apply. So you can apply either through the common application, the coalition application, or our own application on our website. We don't prefer one over the other, so it's entirely up to you how you would like to apply. On that application, it is going to ask you if you would like, which school you would like to apply for. So we have 6 first-year entry-level programs that you can choose from. It's our Dietrich School of Arts and Sciences, our College of Business Administration, our Swanson School of Engineering, our School of Nursing, School of Computing and Information, and also our School of Public Health. It is listed on the application as the Graduate School of Public Health. That is because they are now a brand new undergraduate program, but that is an undergraduate application. So if you see that on there and you're interested in public health, please know that that is the undergraduate piece of the application. Now, once you submit the application, it is a manual process behind the scenes that we are completing your application and checking everything, verifying that it is you, that all of the pieces that you are sending to us are with your application. So it takes a little bit of time, so please be patient while we complete that process. Students should be emailed if they are missing any items. So just give us a little bit of time to make sure that we are checking all of those boxes and getting everything set. At this point, we are experiencing a high volume of applications right around this time. It is usually the busiest time of the year for us in the fall. So please allow about 6 to 8 weeks to hear back from us regarding an admissions decision, and we'll be sure to get back to you as soon as possible. So that's one of the beauties of rolling admissions. You'll hear back from us as soon as we can get that to you. One of the questions that we get a lot too is, what do we look for in an applicant? So some of the things that we require of a student, first, the application itself. The second piece is either the self-reported academic record, which is the Tsar, or a high school transcript. We strongly encourage you to complete the Tsar, as it will greatly speed up the process for you to receive a decision from us. It comes in, it'll usually link directly to your application, and it's very easy to turn around a decision for us if you complete that. For students who are completing our application on our website, the Tsar is right there in the application for you. And for all of our applicants who are using the common application or the coalition application, please allow about 24 to 48 hours for you to receive a confirmation email that will have the link in there for the Tsar for you to complete. If you're completing that Tsar in your coalition or common application applicant, make sure that you use the same email address that you use to apply. That is the way that we will match it with your application. So make sure if you're using whatever email address you're using for that common application or coalition application, you're using for your Tsar account as well. We also have an option for students to either submit their SAT or ACT testing scores, or if you would like to be test optional, you can select that as well. That is a question in all 3 applications. If you're applying as test optional, we do require you to complete either our personal statement or the common application essay. Either are perfectly fine. You do not have to do both. We are only expecting one. If you would like to do both, you're welcome to, but again, we do not expect anything other than just one or the other for that. In terms of other supplemental information, we prefer to hear from students directly in their own words. So we do not actively seek out letters of recommendation. We want to hear from you in your own words. We want you to speak directly to us as the admissions committee, again, either through that personal statement or the common application essay. We also will like to see students that submit either the activities list through the common application, or if you'd like to submit a resume, you can do that as well. Details about how to submit that if you're a coalition or a coalition applicant is also in that confirmation email that we send to you about 24 to 48 hours after you have submitted your application. So again, we do not actively seek out letters of recommendation. We are instead preferring that you submit the personal statement or the Common App personal essay. And I see we've got a lot of questions that are coming into the chat here, so I'm going to go ahead and jump into some of those and we'll see what we have. Okay, so someone had said essays are not required for admission. If I enter an essay that isn't good, does it hurt my chances at admission? No, it will not hurt your chances for admission. It can really only enhance your application. So when we're reviewing students, just to kind of maybe help calm some nerves, we're never looking for reasons to not admit a student. We do look for strong academics. You know, one of the things that I always say is you are students applying to be other students. So your application, the academic part of your application is going to be very important. The supplemental information really helps us to get to know you better as a student. So we do like to look for just, who you are as a person outside of your academics there. Another question that came in, do scholarship notifications go out at the same time as acceptance? My daughter has been notified of acceptance, but has not heard about scholarships. So this is a great question. No, it does not come at the same time. First, we will admit all of our students, and then it's a separate process to be reviewed for merit-based scholarships. Our merit-based scholarship priority consideration deadline is December 1st. So for students who are applying and have their application completed by December 1st, you're automatically reviewed for our merit-based scholarships, both in-state and out-of-state awards. Now, the notifications for those we review on a rolling basis. The scholarship committee started meeting just a few weeks ago at the beginning of October. We meet at least once a week, and we review students on a continuous basis, mostly for the rest of the year. The majority of our notifications for the merit-based scholarships will go out no later than March 1st. So it is very possible that you could be admitted right now, but may not hear back again until January or February, and that's perfectly normal. We have a lot of applications to review, since we do review all applications for that. And there are also many students that will go through multiple iterations of a review. So all of that is perfectly normal that you may not hear for a little bit. Also, for students who are interested, just very briefly, if you're interested in need-based financial aid, that is our financial aid side of the office. You'll want to fill out the Fafsa, and those don't go out until the spring. If you have specific financial aid questions, we can put in the chat the contact information for them. But in terms of merit-based scholarships, if you have any questions about that, I'm happy to help answer. The next question is, do you generally accept dual enrollment credits? Yes, we do. So if you are taking dual enrollment credits or college and high school credits, they are accepted usually as long as we have an equivalent course here and you receive a grade of a C or better. We also will accept AP credits, IB credits, and some A levels as well. And there is a listing on our website, on the admissions website, and I'll ask my colleagues if they can possibly at some point drop in the link in the chat for you for the AP and IB credits that you can see. Most of them will require either a 4 or a 5 on the exam for you to receive credit here at the university. All right, next question. If a student accepts University of Pittsburgh admission and pays admission fee, what happens in 6 months if they change their mind? Okay, so that's a great question. So the deposit is non-refundable. So you have plenty of time to think about if you would like to actually submit your tuition deposit. You have all the way up until May 1st which is the national enrollment deadline. So even if you're admitted today, you do not have to tell us until May 1st. So you have plenty of time if you want to hear back about financial aid, scholarships, if you want to hear back from other schools, that's perfectly normal throughout the process. So you're welcome to do that. Is the FAFSA required to be considered for a merit scholarship? No, it is not. So our merit scholarships are need blind. We're reviewing strictly on your admissions application. It is merit based. So it is based on your performance in high school, your grade trends, your course rigor. Typically, students are performing at the top of their class. If a school ranks, it's usually around the top 5% there. And students, again, can also provide supplemental information that we will review. The personal statement or the Common App essay, one of the two is required for scholarship review. So make sure to fill that out if you want to be considered for those merit scholarships. If we get accepted and we already committed, are we supposed to receive something in the mail? So that's a good question. Most of your documents are going to be sent into a document center portal. So that is how we're going to be communicating with you. If you receive a scholarship or if you're receiving any other information from us, it should drop into that document center portal, or keep an eye on your email address is the majority of the way that we will communicate with you. All right, do freshmen have to dorm with someone, or can they buy out a dorm? So the housing process for our first year students, if you decide to enroll, you'll have an application, a housing application. Those usually go out around March. So they'll be out in the spring, and they go out on a rolling basis depending on when students will submit their tuition deposit and commit to Pitt. You do not have to commit to Pitt early in order to ensure, that spot. As long as you have submitted your tuition deposit by May 1st, our incoming first year students for the fall term will have the 3 years of housing on campus guaranteed. With that comes an application process for housing, and they'll ask you to select your top 3 preferences, 3 to 5, I believe, preferences, and we try to give you one of those. There will be kind of a question and answer on there of what you prefer in terms of roommates, things along those lines. So you'll be able to kind of fill that out with the housing application in the spring. Okay, so next question. If someone got admitted and was fortunate enough to get an academic scholarship, when can they expect to see the full financial package? Yes, so again, if you're submitting your FAFSA for need-based aid as well, that will come in the spring. So you should probably hear from us if you've submitted that FAFSA and the FAFSA opened October 1st, so you can do that now. That information usually goes out in about January or February, so you can probably expect around March 1st to have all of that information if you've submitted everything. Okay, if I apply to the School of Engineering but don't get accepted, can I then apply to the College of Arts and Sciences for that year? So that's a great question. Yes, you can. So but it can also be an automatic review. So for our students who are applying to either the Swanson School of Engineering or our College of Business Administration, if for some reason we are not able to admit you to that school as your first choice, we can automatically review you for the Dietrich School of Arts and Sciences. And before, as a kind of a second choice, because there are pathways in the Dietrich School of Arts and Sciences to then transfer back into one of those schools. So that is a possibility. If you have applied to one of the professional schools and were not offered that as the first choice, and you were not offered that the Dietrich School of Arts and Sciences as the second choice, my recommendation would be to reach out to your admissions counselor or reach out to pitt.admissions@pitt.edu and see if you can get connected with your admissions counselor and see if there is other options for you. Will you ask for first or second quarter grades? So typically there are some decisions that we will ask of students to submit their senior year grades. If we request it, then we'll want to see your mid-year senior year grades. If your school is on a semester schedule, then we'll want to see those 7th semester or mid-year. If your school is on a trimester schedule, we'll want to see the first trimester of your senior year. What scholarships are available and which type of scholarships does Pitt automatically review applications for? So we do have all of our scholarships listed on our website as well. Perhaps some of my colleagues can drop that link in there for you as well. We have scholarships for both in-state and out-of-state students. They range from $2,000 per year to full tuition or full tuition room and board. There are a vast variety of them. The ones that we automatically review for are for the in-state and out-of-state students. Typically, those are we have a lot more of kind of the $2,000 per year, $5,000 per year, $10,000 per year, kind of those type of scholarships are the ones that are usually automatically reviewed for. The full tuition scholarships typically have some sort of application process or interview process that is associated with those. Are all students marked as undeclared on the My Pitt portal? Because I declared a major in neuroscience, but my portal says undeclared. Another great question. So yes, all students are undeclared. There is no official major that you have until typically about your sophomore year. So when you're applying and you're filling out the application and it asks you to select a major, it's asking you to select what major you intend to pursue. So you don't actually officially declare until you're about a sophomore year at Pitt. Because each major will require a couple of prerequisite courses for you to complete beforehand. The School of Nursing, they only offer one major, which is nursing. So those students would already be declared. And our Graduate School of Public Health currently only has one major, which is public health. So those two are the exceptions, but everything else, the Dietrich School of Arts and Sciences, College of Business Administration, you'd want to declare around your sophomore year. And for engineering, it's typically the end of the first year so that you can start into the sophomore year curriculum. Does Pitt require letters of recommendation? No, we do not. So we do not actively seek out letters of recommendation. We prefer and find much better value in hearing directly from you in your own words. So we're looking for you to complete either that personal statement that we have in our application or the Common App personal essay. Either one is perfectly fine. You do not have to do both. We're only expecting one or the other. But we really want to hear from you in your words. That is your chance to speak to the admissions committee and to let us know who you are as a person outside of your academics and to really put that into context for us. All right, next question is, my son applied to Pitt Common App with personal essay. In the honors section, the instructions stated in lieu of an essay or personal statement, we asked to answer short answer questions. Optional. So if you're replying to the honors question on the application, there is a question that will ask, would you like to be reviewed for Pitt honors? If you select yes, there's usually another short answer question that will pop out there. So they do prefer, if you're applying to Pitt honors, that you have to complete that Pitt honors essay. You can also complete the Common App personal essay or our personal statement as well. But for the students that are doing the Pitt honors program, you're going to have that one additional personal short answer response question. And I believe for this year, it is, if you could change anything in the world, why and how would you change it for our honors college? All right, these are some great questions. Make sure to keep them rolling in. Go ahead and put them in the chat and we'll hopefully get through all these questions. Again, if you're just joining us, my name is Julia Ellis from Pitt Admissions, and we're going through some of our questions here for the Ask Me Anything. Okay, so the next question is, if I received an acceptance, but I'm thinking about changing the major or school I wish to attend, what would the process for that look like? So you'll want to let us know as soon as possible if you are going to pursue a different school. Changing the major, so as I had just mentioned a few minutes ago, the intended field of study isn't necessarily going to change your decision. It's more the school. So if you're looking for, let's say you applied to the Dietrich School of Arts and Sciences, and now you're thinking about the Swanson School of Engineering, you're going to want to email us at pitt.admissions@pitt.edu requesting that you be reviewed now for the Swanson School of Engineering, for that new school, whatever it is that you are choosing to switch to. So we do have to have that request from the student in writing before we can do that. And then what happens is you go back through the review process. So you're going to go back to the admissions committee and we're going to review you again as a new applicant for the Swanson School of Engineering. So you'll definitely want to do that sooner rather than later. One of the things is that we are rolling admissions, and with rolling admissions, it's typically a first come, first served basis. So once we start getting into the spring, most of our seats are going to be full, and especially in a lot of those professional schools. So you'll want to let us know if you've had a change of heart sooner rather than later. All right. Can you apply to the Honors College after sending your general application? Yes, you can. So if you've already sent in your application and you did not complete that Pitt Honors essay and you hadn't indicated on there that you wanted to be reviewed for the Honors College, you are able to still do that. We have a web form on our website that is going to ask you some demographic information so that we can match that to your application. And then that short answer response question will be there. Just make sure that you are doing that prior to our December 1st Pitt Honors deadline. So if you're interested in Pitt Honors, you have to make sure that your application is completed prior to December 1st. And for Pitt Honors, those notifications will be going out March 1st. So if you apply for Pitt Honors, you won't hear back whether you were accepted until March 1st. Okay, my courses at my school are all year long, but I get grades every marking period, 4 marking periods. Should I select single marking period or quarterly? So that's a great question. I'm assuming you're referring to the SAR. So for the SAR, if you have year grades and you want to put that in, then you're going to want to select yearly. So if you have one grade, let's say you received an A in your English class for the entire year, you would select the yearly grade and just put an A for the whole year. So you don't necessarily have to go in and put all 4 marking periods if your school offers the 1 full year average. We hear that the business school is very competitive. My son applied to the business school. If he doesn't get into the business school, can he reapply to the School of Arts and Sciences? Yes, so that is very similar to our friend who asked earlier about the Swanson School of Engineering. So engineering and business, if we are not able to admit students directly to those 2 schools as their first choice, we can automatically review students for a Dietrich School of Arts and Sciences, and then they can ask to, they can follow a pathway during their first year to then reapply into those schools for the sophomore year. Do you require a SAR? So we don't require the SAR. You could submit your high school transcript, but however, you would receive your admissions decision much more quickly if you complete the SAR. So it's a much easier process if you do fill that out. And if you fill out the SAR, then we do not require an official transcript until you are admitted and decide to enroll. We require then a final official high school transcript after you've graduated that has your graduation date on it and your final senior year grades. And we do compare the 2, so just make sure that you're lining everything out in the exact way that it is on your transcript. So if there's a course that's written out one way in your transcript, make sure it says the exact same thing on your SAR. What is the process and timing for the direct med program? So I believe you're probably referring to our guaranteed admissions program for our School of Medicine. So we have guaranteed admissions programs here at the University of Pittsburgh, and we have roughly 20 of them now that are guaranteed seats into our graduate level programs as an incoming first year student. Each one is different. Some are more competitive than others. The medicine is the most competitive guarantee that we have. The deadline for a completed application is November 1st, which is this coming Monday. We have to have all materials in by then. If you are deciding to submit SAT or ACT testing scores, please know it can take up to 3 weeks for us to receive those from College Board or ACT. Make sure to send those as soon as possible. So for the med program, the guaranteed admissions program, the first part of this, you first have to be admitted to the university. So you'll want to submit the application for admission, select medicine on the application. If it asks you, would you like to be reviewed for a guaranteed admissions program? And then once we review you for admission to the university, if admitted, we can then review you for the School of Medicine guarantee. We typically nominate about 400 students to continue on in the process. And we give those names to the School of Medicine. And usually what the School of Medicine then does is they'll send out information of a supplemental application process. So students will be able to then submit supplemental materials directly to the School of Medicine. That is not done through the Common Application or our application or coalition. It's done directly through the School of Medicine. And they require a couple additional things. From those applications, will then select students to interview. Interviews typically happen in March, and then they'll select usually about 10 to 15 students to receive the guarantee. We get a very high volume for this program. So majority of our students, vast majority, are just generally admitted to the university and can still pursue pre-medicine and have all the same resources that our guaranteed students have. We have some really amazing resources here. We've got 6 teaching hospitals right on our campus, countless opportunities for research. And we have our own pre-allied health advising center as well for students who are interested in going into pre-medicine, pre-dentistry, physical therapy, all those allied health programs. We've got some incredible resources here for you and support. I'm planning on applying to the School of Business. Do I need letters of recommendation? No, you do not. So we do not require letters of recommendation. We do not actively seek out letters of recommendation. We want to hear from you in your own words in either the personal statement or the Common App personal essay of what it is that you'd like to tell the admissions committee. What is the most important thing to you? Whatever is important to you is important to us. And this is really our opportunity to get to know who you are outside of the application process or outside of the transcripts and your academics. Do you have to commit with a deposit before applying for a Pitt Scholarship? No, absolutely not. You do not have to commit before being reviewed for a merit scholarship. Our tuition deadline isn't until May 1st. For the fall term for our first year students. So May 1st is quite a few months away. You have plenty of time to hear back about scholarships, about our need-based financial aid offers, so you do not have to commit to Pitt before receiving a scholarship. Does the school do their own system of weighted GPA if our school sends the GPA as unweighted? So for our purposes, we have a weighted 4-point GPA scale, and that's only for internal reporting purposes. We like to see you and your GPA in the terms of your own high school. So we will see your self-reported GPA. If you have the weighted GPA, we'd like to see the weighted. If it's unweighted, that's perfectly fine as well. Whatever it is that you provide to us, and we only review you in the context of your own high school. What is the highest merit scholarship that can be earned? We do have some scholarships that offer full tuition or full tuition with room and board. They're all listed on our website, so you're welcome to head on over there. It's under our financial aid side of the website. And you can see all of the scholarships that are available. For any of our students that are Pennsylvania residents, there are 2 scholarships that have a separate application process. And those are due December 1st. So make sure to hop on over there if you're a Pennsylvania resident. That is the STAMP Scholarship and the Nordenberg Scholars Program. Those 2 focus on your leadership experiences outside of the classroom. Are there any admission consideration for homeschool students? Yes, absolutely. We do consider homeschool students for admission, and the criteria for that is available on our website as well if you'd like to see what is required of the homeschool students. I know Pitt is mainly a med business major school, but is there a criminology major? And if so, are the programs in Pitt, are there good programs in Pitt for that? So an interesting point that you bring up. We do have quite a few students that are interested in pre-medicine or any of these allied health programs, especially because of our location in Pittsburgh, but we have a vast majority of programs that are all top-notch. We're also #1 in the world for our philosophy program. We're typically top ranked for our business program. We offer many programs in the humanities, studio arts, English writing. We have a major in our College of General Studies that is Administration of Justice, which would probably be the most similar to what you'd think of a typical criminology program. So that is available as well. All of the programs that are here, you're able to get involved in research. It doesn't have to just be students who are on that pre-med track or who are interested in those natural sciences. We also have opportunities for students to complete research in the humanities, in the social sciences, in the arts, everything. So there's a lot of flexibility that Pitt offers students. If you want to double major, triple major, have minors or certificate programs, whatever your interests are and wherever they lie, if they're in multiple disciplines, we're able to work with you and make sure that that happens. That's something that we really highly encourage of our students, to be able to kind of do cross-disciplinary things. So very much looking forward to that and looking for students that are interested in those areas. Okay, what does the Honors College offer or provide? So if you're interested in our Pitt Honors College, there are opportunities for taking honors courses. We have an honors living and learning community for our first year and upper class students, so you could have honors housing. We have numerous student organizations that are available. We also have multiple opportunities for additional advising, either academic advising, advising for national and international scholarships, such as the UDAL scholarships, Fulbright scholarships, things along those lines. So there's quite its own community for sure. So you're able to get involved in quite a lot of things. Students who are admitted into the Pitt Honors College also have priority registration for housing starting in their spring semester of first year, if admitted as a first year student. There are opportunities to have an honors designation on your transcript. So quite a bit that goes on there. Feel free to take a look at the Honors College website as well. And sometimes they'll also host some sessions on their own if you want to reach out and hear specifically about the Honors College. Is it okay if I submitted my SAR with classes that are in a different order than my own transcript? For example, if on my transcript, English is listed first, but on my SAR, I put math first, is that okay? Yes, that is perfectly fine. The order can be different as long as they're all listed under the correct year and they have the correct title and grade. That's perfectly fine if they're not listed in the exact order that they are on your transcript. Okay. Is a supplemental application required for the pharmacy program as a guaranteed admit? So as a first year student, if you're applying as a first year student and interested in that pharmacy guarantee, the only thing you have to do is in the application, it will ask if you'd like to be reviewed for a guaranteed admissions program and you'd want to select pharmacy. So when we review you for admission, once you're admitted, then we'll review you for that guarantee. So no additional information is needed for that one. Do I need to indicate somewhere on the Common App that I want to be considered for the College of Arts and Sciences if I don't get into the School of Engineering? So for the application, either our application, Common App, or Coalition App, you can only select one school. So if your first choice is the Swanson School of Engineering, I'd recommend to select that. If again, we aren't able to review you for your first choice of either for the engineering or business programs, we can review you automatically for the Dietrich School of Arts and Sciences. Can you speak about the honors program application process? Of course. So the honors application process is in the website, or excuse me, in the application, there is a question that will ask, would you like to be reviewed for the Pitt Honors College? If you select yes, then there will be a short answer question that will pop out and it will ask you, the question is, if you could change anything in the world, why and how would you change it? So you'll want to respond to that. And then you're first reviewed for general admission here at the university, and then you're reviewed for Pitt honors at a later time. All of our honors college decisions will not go out and be released until March 1st. So you could be admitted right now and you will not hear back about the Pitt honors program and whether or not you were accepted until March 1st. So just kind of keep that in the back of your mind. If you have already sent an academic transcript, is the SAR still required? No, so our SAR is not required. If you could send a transcript if you'd like, but the SAR will greatly speed up the process of you to receive an admissions decision. So you're still able to send it in if you'd like to kind of speed up that process a little bit, but it is not required. So y'all have had some great questions. This is absolutely amazing. Keep continuing to put some questions in the chat. Again, if you're just joining us, my name is Julia Ellis, Assistant Director of Admissions here in Pitt Pitt Admissions, and we can talk kind of all things admissions, so feel free to ask those questions. We're getting a lot of applications that are coming in right now. If you've placed an inquiry or been trying to get a hold of our office, please know that we are diligently working to get back to you. The best way to reach us is either on our online chat feature during normal business hours, which are 8:30 to 5, Monday through Friday. You can email us at pitt.admissions@pitt.edu. You could also use our online chat feature. It's a chat bot named Kathy that is available 24/7 that could automatically respond to some frequently asked questions. But the live chat during our normal business hours is also a great way to get a hold of us there. So if you have any of those questions, things that we haven't been able to get to today, may not get to, feel free to reach out to us on there. You're also welcome to reach out directly to your own admissions counselor. And we can always get you connected to them. If you're not sure who that is, just send us an email at that pitt.admissions@pitt.edu. So another question came in, does the application process also consider you for the outside scholarships listed on the website, or do you have to apply for those outside scholarships separately? So our outside scholarships are not done through the University of Pittsburgh. So if it is an external scholarship from a different third party, another vendor, or a different company, then you'll want to go directly through them. One thing that the University of Pittsburgh does offer to our students who are admitted to the university, once you're admitted, you'll be able to have access to something that's called Pitt Funds Me. Pitt Funds Me is our scholarship database, and it is available in the my.pitt.edu portal. That hosts external scholarships that all been vetted through our office. So our financial aid side of the office has vetted all of those. Right now, I think there are over 15,000 that are on there, and it will pull those. And once you start answering questions, it will pull ones that will match your profile of what you have answered. So you're able to go on and easily apply to those. Those are, again, all external scholarships that are on there. There are Pitt-specific scholarships that will be offered to our current students through Pitt Funds Me. So if you decide to enroll next summer, and then when you continue on as a first-year student and on through your 4 years, then you'll be able to use that for specific Pitt scholarships. But those, again, are for currently enrolled students. So as an admitted first-year student, if you are admitted to the university, you can use it to find those external scholarships, but otherwise it would be finding external scholarships through those third parties. Can you speak about tuition exchange? Are there specific admissions test scores you are looking for, or other things that you recommend a student have? So tuition exchange is a program that we offer for students if their parents work for another university that is a tuition exchange university. We can have a reciprocity. There's an application that has to be filled out. It is a competitive program. So we are looking at students that are typically performing at the top of their class. Students have really strong academics. We don't have a specific test score that is required. It really depends on the applicant pool each year and how many students we are receiving in that application pool, how many students we're receiving from other schools, and how many we are sending out as well. Are the short answer questions that are offered on the Pitt application website also on the Common App? So we have, for our first year students, students are able to submit either the Common App personal essay or our personal statement. The personal statement is available under the University of Pittsburgh's section of the Common Application. For international students, there is a specific short answer question. Other than that, the first year domestic students and our transfer students have the opportunity to submit the personal statement. Those are also available on our website. So if you did not submit those through the application, you've already submitted the application, you can go onto our website and search personal statement or short answer questions, and that should pop up for you to be able to submit right there, and we'll see that into your application. Okay, with rolling admissions, if we applied a couple of weeks ago, approximately when would notification be given? So right now we are experiencing a very high volume of applications. So this being our kind of most busiest time of the year, we're looking at about 6 to 8 weeks to turn around a decision for you. So We try to do it as quickly as possible, and we review students as they come in and applications as they come in. Right now, we're looking at about 6 to 8 weeks. Is there a list of AP courses and the scores required to receive credit for those classes? Yes, we do have that. It is available on our website. I'll ask one of my colleagues to drop that link in the chat for you. And that will list out AP classes, IB classes, and also A levels, if any students here have taken any of those. For AP, typically we require a 4 or a 5 on the exam to receive credit here at the university. If you eventually decide to enroll here at Pitt and you've taken AP exams, please make sure to have those sent to us from College Board so that you would receive credit when you are going to enroll in classes next summer with your academic advisor. Do we get to know about scholarships before admitting? So students have to first be admitted before they are reviewed for our merit-based scholarships. The priority consideration deadline is December 1st. So for any students that have applied prior to that, they're automatically reviewed for our general merit-based scholarships, and students could potentially be notified of those anytime from the time that they are admitted all the way up until March 1st. Typically, we send out the last of our scholarships right around March 1st and complete that process for the year. These are some great questions that you all have. Please continue to drop them into the chat if there's anything that you would like for us to talk about. Another question here, would students who have accepted for a fall 2022 start be considered a currently enrolled student? And can you apply to scholarships via Pitt Funds Me? So if you have applied for fall 2022, next fall, and you were admitted, congratulations, by the way, if you were admitted, you're not currently enrolled. So you're an admitted student essentially for next fall. Currently enrolled students are students that will submit their tuition deposit and enroll in classes. So usually it would be at least until next summer. We do not post those Pitt specific scholarships until August, right before those classes start. So it is for students that are just going to start their first year next fall. So Pitt specific scholarships will not be on there until right before the start of the semester. But Pitt Funds Me is a great opportunity to look at external scholarships, which you could do as an admitted student now. So if you're admitted now, you should have access to Pitt Funds Me in our applicant or in our my.pitt.edu portal, and that will have all external scholarships on there that you can start applying to. They're from all different third-party companies. We've just vetted them all as legitimate scholarships that we know that students have received funding from and that you're able to apply to. So it's a great resource to start now. I strongly recommend that you do start now. Start applying to some, apply to a few every single day. Every little bit helps. And it's always great to just start kind of getting involved in that process earlier, the better. Our next question, is it okay to go test optional for the medicine guaranteed admissions program? Yes, it is. So that program is available for our test optional students or students who are submitting the SAT or ACT testing scores. We do not prefer one over the other. It is entirely up to you. If you select to apply as test optional, you will be test optional for the entire process, which includes Pitt Honors College, admission, guaranteed admissions programs, and all of those things. Same goes for if you've selected to submit your SAT or ACT testing scores, you will have those SAT or ACT testing scores through the entire process, the guarantee program, the Honors College, and all of those things as well. So I just want to make sure to clarify that information too. Our next question, is it true that Pitt students can also take classes at Carnegie Mellon? Sort of, yes. So we have a program with the 9 other institutions in our direct Pittsburgh area that's sort of a little bit of an exchange program for students. So you could take classes at any of those other institutions as a guest student, so as non-degree seeking, only if we do not offer that class here. So for example, if there is something that is offered at Carnegie Mellon that we don't offer here, you could elect to take that class there. Some caveats to that, though, it does depend on their seat availability within those classes. So if it's a competitive class to get into, there's a very good likelihood that they would, that you may not be able to get into that class. you are also restricted in how many credits you can take in those classes at the other institution. So typically it's like being a guest student there for maybe 1 or 2 classes here and there, just to kind of supplement whatever your major or minor is here at Pitt. Do honor students generally receive merit scholarship money? So this is a completely separate process, the honors process versus the scholarship process. So we have students that will receive merit-based scholarships that will not be admitted to Pitt Honors. We have students that are admitted to Pitt Honors that do not receive a merit-based scholarship. So they're completely separate processes. They're both holistic reviews, just like our general admissions process. The honors college students, my recommendation is to spend some time on that honors college essay. That is going to be one of the most important factors of deciding students who are admitted into the honors college or not. So make sure that you're spending some time on that honors college essay. And the students who are also applying and interested in merit-based scholarships, both of those deadlines are December 1st. But again, those are 2 separate processes. All right, so these are kind of all the questions that I'm seeing right now. Again, feel free to throw some questions there in the chat if you have anything else. We still have about 15 minutes left here that I'm happy to help answer questions. I know a lot of students right now are applying and finishing up those applications. So if you have any questions that you're really interested in getting answered, feel free to ask, and I'm happy to help with that. For anyone who may just be joining us, again, my name is Julia Ellis, Assistant Director of Admissions here in the Office of Admissions and Financial Aid at the University of Pittsburgh, talking about the application process. So again, we're rolling admission. We don't have an early action or an early decision deadline, so you can apply at any point in time. There are a couple of deadlines along the way, though, to mention. We mentioned a few of them so far. The guaranteed admissions program for our School of Medicine is November 1st. Our deadline for Pitt Honors and for a priority consideration for merit scholarships is December 1st. And then there's also a deadline for students who are interested in the physician assistant guaranteed admission program, which is January 15th. So those are a couple of our deadlines along the way. If anyone out there is interested in applying for need-based financial aid, that is based on the Fafsa information. The Fafsa is open as of October 1st. That information is typically sent out, those financial aid packages, in the spring, usually around February, March. If you're interested in merit-based scholarships, again, the priority deadline for that is December 1st. We automatically review students who have their applications completed by that December 1st deadline. After that, it's based on funding. So it is a rolling basis of the funding that we have. And once we are out of scholarships, we are out of scholarships. So make sure to apply early to get your application into that applicant pool. Those are different processes, so you will not hear back about scholarships right away. Only students who are awarded will receive a notification as well. So if you are awarded a merit scholarship, you'll receive notification from our office. If you are not awarded, you will not receive that notification. So keep that in mind. Again, anyone who is a Pennsylvania resident, there are 2 additional scholarships that have a separate application process. That is the Nordenberg Scholars Program and the Stamp Scholarship. Those are available on our website. We got a couple more questions in here. That's great. Make sure to keep them coming. So my son submitted his SAR with unweighted grades, but noted if it was an honors or AP class. Does he need to update the SAR to reflect the weighted grades? Possible to update SAR after submission. So if he indicated that it was an honors or an AP class, that's perfect. That's what we'd like to see. And as long as he put the grade that he received for that year on the class, then that is perfectly fine. If he provided the unweighted overall cumulative GPA, that's fine as well. He does not need to resubmit. If he wants to, he can, but it's not required. It sounds like he did it the correct way. Does Pitt Honors have slightly different classwork? So for Pitt Honors, you can take honors level courses. The honors courses, though, are not counted into your GPA. They're not a weighted course. They're just kind of a wider breadth and depth into a subject. So typically it is some courses that are subject matter that we already offer. We do have some of our professors that are in the different schools that like to provide classes that have some more in-depth topics about an overarching topic, if that makes sense. So some of them will go into some different topics and things like that, but mostly it's a wider breadth and depth into a particular subject. So they typically will recommend to take honors classes in areas that you're interested in. It's going to be very reading and writing intensive. Typically there's smaller class sizes, usually about 10 students or so, and it's more seminar style. So a little bit different setup there than some of the general classes. If I don't get into the School of Pharmacy, can I join a different school and then apply again later? So our School of Pharmacy is not a direct entry program. It's actually considered to be an upper level division school. And that means that you would spend your first 2 years in the Diedrich School of Arts and Sciences. So you'll want to apply to the Diedrich School of Arts and Sciences. If you're interested in that guaranteed admissions program to the School of Pharmacy, you can select that in our drop-down box that asks, would you like to be reviewed for a guaranteed admissions program? And you can select pharmacy there. So we could review you for a guaranteed seat in that. If you don't receive the guarantee, that is perfectly fine. You can still attend the Diedrich School of Arts and Sciences if you're admitted into that program. And then you would be able to pursue pre-pharmacy, taking the prerequisite courses that they require and applying again during your sophomore year. Pharmacy program is a junior year entry. So it is a 4-year program. So you start off with your, it's called P1 course, which would be your typical junior year. And it goes P1, P2, P3, P4, and you graduate with your doctorate of pharmacy. Total of 6 years for that program. My son already got accepted to Pitt. Can he still submit the application for Pitt honors? Yes, so congratulations on the acceptance. Very exciting news. He can still submit the application for Pitt honors directly on our website. There is a web form that we have that will ask some information, usually it's name, email address, things like that. And we'll have that short answer question for the Honors College. So make sure to submit that by our December 1st deadline in order to be reviewed. And then the notifications for Pitt honors will go out March 1st. Does Pitt look at the ECs we submit through the Common App? I'm assuming you mean extracurriculars. So with our Common Application students, we do see the entirety of the Common Application. If you submit the activities list, the Common App personal essay, we will see those. If you're completing the additional information sections or the community disruption sections, we will see all of those as well. What is the acceptance rate to Pitt and what is the average GPA of accepted students? So this is a difficult question to answer because most of our students are coming from applicants from all over the country and all over the world on different grading scales. So we have students that will apply on grading scales from 4.0, 5.0, 7.0, 10.0 scales. So it's hard to give you an average, but typically A and B students, our acceptance rate is generally around about 55% in any given year. How competitive is it to get into the law school guaranteed admission program? For the law school guarantee, you just have to make sure that you are, your GPA and your test scores are within the range that they require. For the law school, I believe it's a 1360 SAT or higher and ranking in the top 10% of your high school graduating class. If your school does not rank, that's perfectly fine. We would still look for an A to A+ average throughout high school. And you can also apply as test optional. So if you are interested in that, it's available for students who are test optional or students who are electing to submit SAT or ACT scores. The specific requirements are available on our website as well. So for all 19 or 20 of our guaranteed admissions programs, you can see the criteria and the requirements for each of those on our website. Can I reapply after a regret letter if I am taking more AP classes and I am improving my SAT score? So if our students, we were for whatever reason unable to admit you to the Pittsburgh campus as your first choice, students are able to request reconsideration, but must do so with updated academic information. Typically, that's in the form of mid-year senior grades or first trimester grades if you're on a trimester scale, and SAT or ACT testing scores if you elected to submit SAT or ACT testing scores. Typically, that just finding general, more additional academic information is going to really strengthen that request for reconsideration. You would go under an additional review. There is never a guarantee that your decision will change. My recommendation would be first to speak with your admissions counselor specifically to see what your options are. Do you have any recommendations for a homeschool student to strengthen their application? So first, I would recommend to take a look at our website for what we require of homeschool students. But I would definitely recommend to spend some time on that personal statement, or if you're applying Common App, through the Common App personal essay. Again, we really prefer to hear from students in their own words, of their own lived experiences, and really finding that context of who you are as a person outside of your academics. So we definitely recommend that. And any additional holistic information, if you have a resume or that Common App activities list, those are great pieces to provide some additional context to us. My son's school doesn't provide weighted GPA, so that is a disadvantage for kids with more AP classes. Does this impact his admission? No, that is perfectly fine. We will only review students in the context of their own high school. There are many high schools out there that don't offer AP courses, or the IB courses. They may not offer college and high school or dual enrollment. That's perfectly fine. We're only reviewing your students in the context of their own high school with the opportunities that they have been given within that high school. How competitive is the guaranteed admission program for engineering? So for engineering, it is a bit more of a competitive program. The general admission into engineering is a little more competitive. So that guaranteed admission program typically requires about a 1510 SAT or a 34 ACT composite score and ranking in the top 5% of your high school graduating class. So it is a bit more competitive there, but you're still able to, if you are not awarded the guaranteed admissions program, you're still able to pursue the graduate school through your 4 years here. And we highly encourage that. So just kind of it gives you a guaranteed seat as an incoming first year student. So they're a little bit more competitive that way. But we definitely will highly encourage students to pursue a graduate level program while you're here as well. All right, it looks like we're slowing down on some questions here. I want to take some time to just thank everyone for joining us today. Hopefully this was helpful and answered all of your questions. You had some great ones here. We are looking forward to reading all of your applications. Again, please note that we are experiencing a very high volume right now. So if you're looking to ask a question, the best way to do that, make sure to jump onto our chat bot, our online chat feature during normal business hours, or we have a chat bot that can automatically reply to you 24/7. Chatbot's name is Kathy, in honor of our Cathedral of Learning. We also have our email address, pitt.admissions@pitt.edu, where we should be able to return your email within about 24 to 48 hours. Make sure to ask and reach out if you have those kinds of questions. We've got a lot of information that's available on our website as well. So make sure to check all of that out, especially information about scholarships, the Honors College, guaranteed admissions programs, and some general application tips as well. We are definitely looking forward to reading all of your applications here soon. And again, we're hoping to turn around a decision to anyone who has submitted their applications in about 6 to 8 weeks. So give us a little bit of time to process all of those and turn around a decision to you. And we look forward to hopefully having you all on campus next fall. Thank you all again for joining us today. And we look forward to, again, seeing those applications here soon.